Coach, at this point of spring football, how would you rate your offense and where you want it to be in the progression?
Not quite where I'd like for it to be in terms of execution. We're about on track in terms of what we've been able to install to this point. We've probably got about 80% of the offense installed, and so I'm pleased with that. We just got to execute better. I couldn't be more pleased with the energy, effort, and willingness to be coached and to go hard and to be physical. The guys are doing everything that we're asking in that respect. What we have to do is we got to clean things up and do it all a little bit better. Little things, everything from our splits and our alignment to getting off on the right snap count, center quarterback exchange, no fumbles, routes being run at exactly 12 instead of 11, all those little things we need to clean up.
Perhaps this happened before you even got here, but when did it set in, I'm the OC?
I don't know that it still has. I still kind of feel like the same guy. I find myself working with the offensive line a lot of the time, other than on the days that it's time to actually call plays. I'm the guy who's actually saying it. But really, what we do as an offensive staff, the play called is a collective effort, and I got a great staff, and those guys are doing a great job. So I feel like we do this thing together.
You brought up some very small things you are disciplining on and you're looking at on a day-to-day basis. What's your pet peeve as an offensive coordinator when you see something happen on the field?
Anytime we don't do something that's really simple the right way. So it could be we don't break the huddle the right way. Or a guy's kind of lackadaisical in how he finishes a drill. Or a guy finishes a play and just kind of walks back and saunters back instead of running back to join his teammates and celebrate with them after making a play. It's those little things that take absolutely no talent to do the right way that bother me the most.
How do you address that?
We have a close and intimate conversation about it usually, and it normally results in them not being on the field the next play.
On the flip side, what are some indicators of success for you? Because you can see your team against the defense, but maybe that's not the ultimate indicator.
Well, I think right now the biggest indicator for me that we'll have an opportunity for success is the energy and the passion that these guys exhibit every day. I mean, I think they genuinely love football. I think they're hungry to be coached and to be successful, and they're willing to do almost anything we ask them to do as coaches. And so the challenge for us is to make sure that we're asking enough of them and that we're being demanding enough rather than being too hard on them. I think they can take whatever we give them.
What's been the biggest surprise for you in spring football? Maybe in a pleasant surprise, if you will.
I don't know if there's any one thing that jumps out to me as a surprise. I mean, having been here before, I kind of know what to expect in terms of the type of players that we have and their character. So nothing's really surprised me to this point. It's been about what I expected.
How's the quarterback group developing from what you see?
I would say they've made a lot of progress this spring. Our scrimmage on Friday wasn't our best day, and I think they were pressing a little bit like a lot of other guys were at other positions as well, and that showed. I think they got outside of the system a little bit, and we're trying to make plays a little too much instead of just take plays and just take what's given and play within the system. The system works. It's been proven for a long time. What they got to do is stay within the system and give it a chance to make plays for them, and I think they pressed a little bit Friday. But they came out today and did better, and I'm sure they'll learn from it and move ahead. But I'm pleased with the overall progress of the group. Coach Roderick's doing a tremendous job, and I sit in on his meetings a lot, and the knowledge that they're getting from him is top of what they could expect anywhere in the country.
How much can you tell us about your system right now at BYU?
It's a good one. I think the things that we've talked about a lot, I think have shown up, and people have remarked on that. We're going to be multiple.
Yeah, I keep hearing that word, multiple.
In terms of personnel groups, we're going to play with a lot of different guys. And on any particular Saturday, if it gives us a better chance to win the game by playing with 11 personnel on the field, so you got 3 wides, 1 back, 1 tight end, then we can do that. But if it gives us a better opportunity to win, to play more snaps in 21 or 12 or 22, we can do that too. And I think that's one of our strengths, is that we have versatile athletes at various positions, and so we can play with 2 tailbacks in the game at the same time. We can play with a fullback in the game. We can play with 2 tight ends, or we can play with no tight ends and 4 wideouts, and we've done all of that to some extent. And so right now we're just trying to really push everybody to get better, and as the season draws closer, we'll have an idea about which are our best position groups. But I think what we're trying to do is find roles for guys, and I think that's a real strength for us.
You've been a lot of places with a lot of success. Who or what have gone into the influencers in the way you've shaped the playbook?
Wow. A little bit of everything, everywhere that I've been, really. All the way back to, I was a high school coach, my first 2 years coaching in El Paso, Texas, and worked for a guy named Tom Work, who was a really good offensive coach and was the head coach. And I learned a lot about offensive football from him. And then I worked for guys like Dirk Cutter, and I played for Andy Reid, and all of those guys have something to do with who I am as a coach in terms of football and the system. A lot of what we do is drawn from my time with Coach Cutter at Boise State and Arizona State. That was where I kind of cut my teeth as a Division I coach. But some of the elements in the gun and some of the stuff where we're a little bit more spread out draws on my time at Auburn with Malzahn, and then a lot of stuff from my time at LSU as well, particularly last year with Matt Canada. And so there's been a lot of influencers along the way. Mark Helfrich and I worked together at 3 different places, and he's a great offensive mind, and have spent a lot of time talking to him. Actually, I've been on the phone with him a couple times this spring, talked to him about some of the stuff that they're doing with the Bears now. So there are a lot of guys that I've had the opportunity to rub shoulders with, and all of them are a little bit of who I am, I think.
That's a lot of information to go through and a lot of experience. So how do you take the playbook from 10,000 pages of experience down to, the narrow margin that you want to have for your team?
Well, I think so. I've taken what I like best from each of those systems, and then gleaned information from the other guys on our staff. And we've got a very knowledgeable staff, as I alluded to earlier, and all those guys have had input in what we're doing as well. And then we said, okay, of all this stuff, what makes the most sense for BYU? Because that's really what matters. What I know or what we did at LSU or Boise State or any other place really doesn't matter unless it fits here. And so in order to maximize our talent, our skill set, we said, all right, what fits us? And we put together a system that I think does that.
So the fit based on who you have, the personnel?
Based on personnel, but not just personnel right now, but the type of personnel that BYU is going to have for a sustainable amount of time.
When you look at the quarterback position battle and you see the different types of quarterbacks that you're dealing with, what is it like to try and cater play calling to each of those specific individuals? Because they all have different skill sets.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not trying to cater to them. I'm saying who can cater to me. I want a guy who's going to run our system and throw the ball on time and make plays. And if that guy does that, then I'll worry about catering to him a little bit later on. But all those guys right now have shown that they can run this type of system. And one guy might be able to run a little bit more than another. One guy might be a little better at quick game. Another guy might be a little bit better at some of the strong arm throws to the long side of the field. And we can do all of that stuff, and we'll lean one direction or the other once we figure out who our guy is going to be. But we have a system, and we want to see who best fits that system first.
Moving forward, I hope you have less close, intimate, personal conversations with your personnel coach.
I do too, but we'll see. I imagine there'll be a few more.